Hey there guys, today we are in Florida on this safari trip and I am filming this video just because I was going to film it in Magic Kingdom, but Animal Kingdom works too. Okay, let's turn loading right now. Stop hitting me!
I didn't mean to hit you.
And my grandpa has hit me twice.
You want to switch places? Sit over here with my grandma?
No, I'm filming a video. So yeah. My grandpa hit me twice. Where are we? Here comes another ride.
During your safari today, do not lift your children up off your legs as well. Make sure to keep those hands inside of the jump bag all the way.
We are almost ready to go. Yeah, we have to be in the wheelchair line. So that's what's going on right now. We are waiting for the wheelchair person to get loaded, and we are almost ready to go. Okay, it's a nice, pretty view. Nice, pretty green area. We are in Florida for a vacation. But once this video gets uploaded, we'll be back home. So yeah.
I'll be in that video.
That's fine. I don't need that grumpy guy in the back of the picture.
I don't know what's going on.
We had a grumpy guy in our picture. He didn't know we were taking him.
We are having some.
He was part of the family.
Nice, pretty views. Yeah. Whenever this is ready, we will be going. People wait on me, I wait back. The view. Leave.
Randy Gamer, here in Pennsylvania.
Okay. And so you're now tagged in all family photos.
Where are you guys from? North Carolina?
Okay.
He's stuck. Stuck to get the money. They're supposed to pull him out.
No, everyone stops for fun.
As we do say here in Harambe Twande, that is the Swahili word, and it simply means, let's go. And my friends, viewers, welcome to Herman Bay Wildlife Reserve. Throughout the journey, we do ask you to please stay safe, keeping those hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle at all times. And if there's any little ones on board, make sure they're either sitting on a parent's lap or on the seat right next to them. There can't be any standing on the laps, musical chairs, or cymbal holes. They must remain sitting at all times. And if you're looking to take photographs of the animals, turn on the faster speedboats because these animals are moving around all the time. They don't stop and they don't strike a pose. If you have valuables, hang tight to them because I am not able to stop or pick up anything that falls off the side of my vehicle. Or as good as the all clears. Last Monday, into the Little Missouri Forest.
We are in there. There's a
Alright, there
swamp.
to your right hand side, you'll see the okapi. And okapis are one of the only known living relatives of the giraffe. They share very similar head bone structures, identical tongues as well. Their tongues are actually so long that they
See
can
if we
reach up
can
and lick
find
up
any.
their own eyeballs and nostrils with quite good ease. I mean, they don't have a tissue like you and I do, so they gotta make do with what they have. They are about 4.5 feet tall and around 850 pounds.
That's pretty.
And those striped legs actually do help them blend into the bushes to hide from predators a lot better. Now, let's see what else we find around here. This region is notorious for creatures just hiding in these bushes, and they hide. Some animals hide so well that they're given little nicknames from how well they hide in these bushes. But they're hiding in the left there too. Looks like a big old boulder, but that is a black rhinoceros over there. Now, black rhinoceros are solitary creatures. They usually are found by themselves. They weigh between 1,000 and 3,000 pounds. And one of the few times you'll find two of them directly next to each other is at nighttime near a watering hole. The two of them are looking to get acquainted with each other. On the hills to your right, those are bongos over there. And the bongos, they have a nickname being called Ghost of the Forest. Because you see, they know how to use that terrain to their advantage to hide and conceal and disappear. Further on the bottom of the hill, there is a greater kudu behind the tree over there. Now, a greater kudu, it stands about 5 feet tall. And males have horns and females have none. There's also, come up here to your left hand side, a saddle-billed stork. A bird that's 5 feet tall, wingspans 9 feet in length, weighing at 17 pounds, and mating for their entire lives. Now, the next stop of their journey is going to be the Softy River. Once we make it over this hill,
Oh. I thought we were stuck in mud. Nope. These are pretty.
then the corner there to your right, a few of you might be able to see this, but there's also some Nile hippopotamuses over there. Now, a group of them, that's called a float, because that is how they will rise or fall beneath the water. Now, when they fall beneath the water, they can stay there 8 minutes at one single time. They do it so they don't get sunburn on the backs of them. A few more there to your left-hand side. Now, when these creatures are fully grown, they may not look like they're being in the water there, but they are about 5 feet in length and closer to the 6,000 pound range. Now, for the Nile hippopotamuses, they are very territorial creatures. In the way of how they'll mark their territory, they just take their tails and then fling their feces all over the place. And the birds and islands to your left here, these are pink-backed pelicans. And the pink feather does appear on these birds once it gets a lot closer to their mating season. It's another way to show off the good feathers for each other.
There's the hippopotamus.
Another group of them being called pods pelicans is because they live in something known as colony sizing. It means every male, there's one female. And two make a pod, and they plural it. Pods of pelicans. And to
There's
your
some
left-hand
more.
side, well, those are some Nile crocodiles.
Crocodiles? There they are.
Now, these Nile crocodiles can be 15 to 20 feet in length, weighing at a good 500 pounds. Their jaws are very powerful, and larger groups of them gathered on the shoreline is called a brisket. And the water
There's another one.
is called a float.
We're on a bridge. fridge
And remember to bring
the
sitting
fridge
at
is
all
gonna
times.
snap.
I do have a lovely magic mirror to see you all. But next stop in our journey is going to be the Savannah region.
Wait, does that mean we're going out of the trees? Okay. Sorry for the bad shaking of
That
the.
large tree there to your right hand side is a baobab tree. It can live to be thousands of years. It also
Thousands
can
of
retain up to
years.
30,000 gallons worth of water.
30 gallons worth of water.
Well, let's see what kinds of animals we can find out here in the Savannah region. Because right now I'm just seeing shrubbery. I heard someone say giraffe, but where? I see Ankoi camels in front of us. Ankoi camels are creatures with large horns that are between 5 to
There's a
6 feet
zebra.
in length. Now, while you look at the horn, you might think it's heavy, right? No, they're only 5 to 12 pounds. They're hollowed horns, and they have a honeycomb structured base to them. Now, there's also heart-mound zebras around here. And a group of zebras, well, that's called a dazzle. Because if you ever want to know what color stripe is on top of which, you just simply look at their nose.
You
Another
can see
Ankoi
way in
cow
the
there
back
with
there's a
larger
giraffe.
horns. Even with those large horns, their top speed is
There's
30 miles per hour.
zebra.
And since they all have a
Giraffe.
black nose, this means they all have a black body, and their white stripes are found on top of that. If for the zebras, their noses were white, then it would have been a white
Right
body
there.
with black stripes on top of that.
I see a giraffe. Grandpa,
And all
Do you
of
see
the
the giraffe?
shrubs here on the entire reserve, it all is
Way back
free-growing,
there.
and animals are free to eat from every single piece of it. There's a total
All the
of
way back there.
192 different plant life. And there to your left, that's a wild African dog over there shaking off the herd. Now, also called painted dogs, is you notice that long white tail looks like the tip of a paintbrush. Their coat patterns look like random paint splotch patterns. Now, there are a pack of animals that work with each other. They're able to maintain a speed of 40 miles per hour for 6.5 miles straight. And when they go to talk to each other, the sound that emanates from them are high-pitched rubber ducky sounds. By row 3, remember to remain sitting at all times. When your head gets above everyone else, I know you're standing up and man style. It's to your safety, friends, because if you notice, these roads aren't exactly the smoothest. They're very bumpy, and I give no warnings if I slow down or speed up again. So, for your safety, just remain seated. Thank you. To your left are sable antelope over there. Now, they have a very short lifespan. 18 years is the max they can live to be. When they're first born, they're very light in tan color.
That's
As they
pretty.
progress to get older, they become darker. These
That's
big mountain
pretty.
darts around us, these are termite mounds. They are mostly constructed out of saliva and dirt, but the most important ingredient is algal.
There's some
Yes, in
ant.
fact, animals will use them as a scratching post because they are almost hard like cement itself when dried in the hot sun. Also, springboks there to your right hand side. Now, these springboks are the smallest of the antelope species, standing at 3 feet tall, weighing 100 pounds. Are quite, well, springy in their legs. Because when they first see a predator, most animals have the instinct to run or defend. A springbok, on the other hand, has something called a warning tail sign. And that's where they jump 6 feet straight up in the air. That's roughly how far the ground you are currently. And after they are done giving off their warning tail sign, then they'll take off running. And their speed is 50 to 60 miles per hour. They could outrun the cheetah from how fast they are. Now, from the farther distance over there, there are some white-bearded wildebeest. Oh, and there you do see a giraffe. Man, you must have eyes like a cheetah, because that was way over here. Now, white-bearded wildebeest migrate between 500 to 1,000 miles every single year, and they travel in herds from thousands to tens of thousands. There's over 1 million of them in the wild. And these are very specifically Maasai giraffes. There is 9 different species of giraffe in the world. Maasai's have what's called the messy pattern. As you'll see, there's no repentance or cohesion in the spot pattern. It's just kind of all over the place. But when groups of them are in an area like this, it is called a tower of giraffes because they quite literally tower over us. When they start life, they're only 6 feet tall at the shortest. It takes them a good hour to know how to fully walk and run, no G left. And then fully grown, which only takes about 5 to 8 years time. Ooh, there's some more there, G. Let's go a little closer. Fully grown, they're 18 to 20 feet high in the air, and they never look like it, but they weigh around 7,000 pounds. There's a bit of one elephant there to your right as well. And they're spending well over 20 hours of the day eating and chewing food. Close to 70 pounds of food they'll eat in a day's time. And it takes them nearly 400 days to fully digest food throughout the 4 chambers of stomachs they have. Now there's a left-hand side, you'll be seeing the mandrills. The largest monkeys in the wild. Now when mandrills are first born, their start life is 7 pounds. And as they progressively get older and get more weight to them, they then will start going out swinging about the trees in their own power. A group of them is called troops, which is led by the strongest male. Hiding in the corner there to your right, that African elephant way over there. Let's see if we can get a better angle of it on the other side of these bushes. Kind of showing more of the good side, the backside view. Well, let's see if we can continue to see and discover more animals. Alright, now there is this old bridge we got crossing over. It's been around here since 1971. It has gone through a few things throughout the years. I mean, there's only one support beam left, but it has extra support of rope and duct tape. I mean, we're always curious which one of us might finally take out that last beam. Might be me, who knows?
You're up.
Well, it doesn't look like it's going to be me, but just in case, let's 20.
That bridge has been there since
Looks like I'm too fast. I caught up to my other driver. Alright. Oh, actually, no. Further ahead, an animal was blocking the road, so we got a little backed up. That does happen from time to time. I mean, this is the animal's home, and we're just a little visitor here. And sometimes they do step in the road for just a couple minutes to just stare us down. Have an opening contest, they usually win. But sometimes they do tend to fall asleep on the road, and it's always a fun day when that happens. There was one particular day I remember when a white rhinoceros fell asleep on the road for 2.5 hours. But then there to your left, those are African elephants. More of the front side view this time. Now, groups of African elephants, that's called a herd, which is led by the oldest one called the matriarch. And compared to most animals in the wild, they live a really long time. The average lifespan for animals is between 20 and 25 years, max. African elephants, on the other hand, can be between 45 up to 80 years of age, and that's human years. And when they first start life, they're very, very small. They're actually 2 feet tall and 300 pounds when they're first born. Though it does take them between 22 to 26 months to fully give birth. Yes. And when they also are first born, they don't have any tusks on them. They start to grow those about 2 to 3 years after they're first born. And the longer the tusks are, it does show how old they are. Now, for them to become fully grown, it will take close to 20 years for that to happen. Once they are fully grown, it's actually a range of how big they could be. They could be as short as 5 feet to as tall as about 7.5, sometimes 8 feet tall. And how much they'll weigh is actually anywhere between the low 10,000 range to the max of around 14,000 pounds. And so with how large and how strong they are very capable creatures of knocking down trees. They actually could rearrange the whole terrain around them if they so choose to do so.
Oh, smile.
And there's no one there to your left. And their large ears, and when they flap it, something they do quite a lot during summer times, it actually is a cooling method. Flapping those ears drops their temperatures by 15 degrees. Now there's a trunk, I guess it's saying hello to you. Oh, there it goes for some food. Now that trunk can extend 3 times its normal size. There's 192 different nerve endings just in the trunk alone.
Wow.
And all at once, that trunk could hold to 5 gallons worth of water. In fact, in a day's time, they will eat around 300 pounds worth of food. Oh, now come here to your left-hand side, you have the mighty ducks. But you also have the gray flamingos. And if you look closely, there's a little tiny flamingo that hatched just the other day. You see it's right in the ground there, just laying down. Now, when they first hatch, being that small, in 2 months' time, they're 5 feet tall and 9 pounds. They're essentially a full-size grown adult. The only difference is they still will have their gray feathers. Because to fully go from gray to pink feather is over a 10-month process. What they do is they eat a ton of brine shrimp. Inside of brine shrimp, there's a very special mineral known as
more ducks.
keratin. This has to be integrated into their bloodstream to make those feathers turn pink. And a group of them in one single location, it's called a flamboyance. But let us continue our journey into the East Savannah region. Oh goodness, there's some white rhinoceros and a little young one. There's also some laying right in a big old mud wallow.
Uh-oh, there's some
Mud
trunks.
is actually a very common thing used by more of the larger creatures like white rhinoceros, black rhinoceros, African elephants, and creatures like this
There's
as a
one
natural
mud
sunscreen
lane.
protection.
There's a few mud laid
Or
in
just a
the
nice place to cool
mud.
down on these hot summer days.
There's one
Now,
eating.
interesting enough, for white rhinoceros, it will take them between 3 to 4 years to even get pregnant. And it's not as long as African elephants. It's only 18 to 22 months until they fully give birth. But once little ones are born, they weigh between 88 to 120 pounds. And just in about a year's time, they'll reach around 1,000 pounds. Now, give them about 4 to 5 years is how long it takes them to become fully grown, which then is between 4,000 to 5,000 pounds they can be. They live to be about, actually these creatures live a little longer. Their max lifespan is about 45 years, and their top speed is 45 miles per hour.
Looks like they're trying to. There's a sunbathing.
Out in the mud.
You know,
Trying
up there to
to-
your left, there is a cheetah. You spot it?
Cheetah.
Now, cheetahs do have not only the great speed of 0 to 63 seconds,
can see 'em.
they also have many other things that are quite incredible about themselves. They have great instincts, good eyesight, non-retractable claws, even their tails are great helpful tools for them. Because when it comes to members of the cat family, they are considered to be the most accomplished day hunters. And there's a very specific reason why they only hunt during the day. It's because they absolutely have no kind of nighttime vision. In fact, their vision at night is worse than ours. Now up here to your left-hand side is the Kopi Rocks. Imagine it's having a rockin' time over here. Now that was rock silence. But the rock structure like this is actually more of a scouting perch for animals. They look for sources of food, shelter, water, and things like that. A few more white rhinoceros there to your right. I forgot to mention this, but a group of white rhinoceros is called a crash. Because of one thing, they have poor vision. Everything around them within roughly 10 feet looks like some form of a colored blob. And so when they venture into new areas, if they see an object they've never seen before, to know if they can go through it or not, at full speed, which is 45 miles per hour, they'll crash right into the item. And I've seen those creatures run at 45 miles per hour. It's quite an amazing feat to see 5,000 pounds running like it's nothing. Oh, there to your left on the hill there is a warthog. They are the biggest burrowing creatures of the wild. And when they make their holes with their snouts and tusks, they always go tail first. That way they can defend their homes from predators.
I don't know if you can see
Now,
it.
a fun little thing. If you know the word Pumbaa,
Pumbaa.
translation from Swahili, Pumbaa actually says foolish one.
Foolish one.
Now it's a buntebok there to your right hand side. This chestnut brown coat creature, when it's in direct sunlight, it has a special pigmentation that shines purple. Those eggs belong to the ostrich. And an ostrich egg, it only weighs 3 pounds. But it's such a sturdy egg, it's able to withstand nearly 300 pounds of pressure and not even crack. Now that takes 301 pounds of pressure. But also the amount of yolk in one of those eggs very easily fills about 2 dozen normal chicken eggs. And now we're going to make our journey into the Magadi Glen.
This is gonna be my longest video. Not bad.
Alright, now this is where you would find the warden's post. They come to rest here from their long work days. I don't see any wardens though. I do see quite a lot of Nigerian
You can
dwarf
see
filterels
there's a red
scattered around the
bird.
region here to your left.
The red bird left. Oh,
And these
there's
goats,
some.
they get no bigger than this.
There's
They're
some
only a
goats.
tall and about 50 pounds. But they do like to do about
Goats.
3 things for the course of a whole day. They like to sleep, eat, and play. The very things they like to eat is actually a lot of weeds, underbrush, and moss around the areas.
That sounds
Their
like
version
Bentley.
of playing is where they charge at each other, which for them that's 0.3 miles per hour. Bump each other in the head and see who's still standing. It's kind of their way to determine who's going to be the alpha for the little herd. Oh, now we're going to make our journey all the way back to the main village. And I truly hope you've enjoyed seeing the animals out here today, because I not only hope that you'll take into your hearts what you've seen, but to be mindful. Because there's many different things that we can do for the animals and our own daily personal lives. One thing we always do, it's called the 4 R's. What it is the first R is reuse. Reuse any sort of reusable item like straws, bottles, bags, things like this, because then you're able to go further and recycle all you can. And doing those 2 small little things, you start a chain reaction to help reduce the amount of waste in the world. Because if reducing the amount of waste in the world reduces the chances of the big harming animals, the little ones, and stopping them from expanding their numbers in the wild. Because after that point, the earth and the animals can go through recovery phases to then repopulate in their numbers. Ecosystems can then be restored to their natural environments and all these things like that. And that's just one small way to help out the animals. There's multiple things we always do through our lives, like share information through social media sites. There's multiple platforms. You can help out through conservation funds and just so on and so forth. Every single kind of ways you can find to help out the animals, whether it is through something small, sharing information, to as large through conservation funds, every single way is always greatly appreciated, because the more we come together as a world to save the animals, the more likelihood we are able to then save the animals around us. Now, as you can tell, a bit more traffic, but it also means we are back into the main village, just further ahead of your natives playing. Now, the area we're heading more into right now, we're not going to be stopping here. I'm actually going to just try to cut through here as fast as I can, taking you right back up to the same dock I got you from before originally. Now, if I do have any Wilderness Explorers on board, if you open to page 1450 of your booklets, the name of the truck you're aboard right now is Simba #1. As a fun little fact, Simba in Swahili translates into saying lions.
Okay.
Alright, looks like it
I'm
might
gonna
be a
wrap it
little
up
while
here.
before we're through here.
Hopefully you guys had fun with this savannah.
And while
And
it might take us a while
I'm
to get
gonna
through,
be
did anyone
heading
have
out.
any
Okay.
questions about the
I
animals
will
yourself?
see you guys next time. Bye.